oh, she looks guilty as hell. And then I'm looking at it and I'm saying, did you really say that? Mm-hmm. Did you really say that Caitlin Clark should thank her Heavenly Stars that she wouldn't be worth anything if she wasn't playing in the WNBA? Did you really say? See, all of these things that Nafisha Collier brought up.
The WNBA spent 27 years battling for mainstream attention. Now they finally possess a superstar, attracting millions of viewers and massive revenue. Yet, curiously, the league office is throwing a public tantrum. Stephen A. Smith just revealed something truly wild. The commissioner might actually be attempting to sabotage her own primary source of success. This isn't strictly about basketball anymore. This is about ego, authority, and blatant corporate envy. Post.
Hey, Caitlin! Can you make it from there?
Hey, Caitlin, how about from here?
Come on, guys.
Yeah, she can't make it from there.
No chance.
Caitlin, conmigo, what? You got it.
I'm not even gonna ask.
Hey, Caitlin, from here might be impressive. Am I right?
Whatever, Chet.
From right here.
From there!
P. Has the WNBA management completely lost their perspective? Or is this the most transparent self-sabotage in the history of sports? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. So let's dive into what actually transpired, because this entire situation is genuinely baffling. Reports began surfacing regarding a new advertisement featuring Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever star. Nothing unusual about that, right? Wrong. Apparently, and without, our mindset is not just aimed at Dan Sullivan, but to be respected as an expert in what happened to us. Any information you request about this situation is already in your mind. It is not discussed in this manner, or any manner as it's. This commercial sent WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the entire league office into a total meltdown state. We're talking closed-door sessions, furious phone calls, and what Stephen A. Smith describes as absolute rage from the executive level. Now pause for a moment and consider how backwards this truly is. Your biggest star secures a massive national commercial that places your league in front of millions who might never observe women's basketball otherwise. The standard response from any competent sports body would be celebration. Pop the champagne, issue a press release, amplify it on social media, and ride that momentum all the way to the bank. But not the WNBA. Their reaction was apparently bitterness and resentment. Stephen A. Smith didn't just speculate about this. He essentially confirmed it. He has been one of the loudest voices defending Caitlin Clark all year. But his recent remarks took a much darker turn. He is not just talking about on-court friction anymore. He is exposing what he views as fundamental rot in the league's leadership. According to SAS, the atmosphere coming from WNBA headquarters isn't a celebration of their newfound glory. It is fear and jealousy, because one player has become larger than the entire organization. Let's analyze why this commercial specifically sparked such chaos. When Caitlin Clark appears in these high-budget advertisements, whether it is Wilson, Gatorade, or State Farm, she is not framed as just another WNBA player. She is presented as a cultural phenomenon, a singular force. The production value is incredible. She looks powerful, independent, and most importantly to the league office, bigger than the WNBA itself.
Well, let me clarify first, because it's proxy season, right? No CEO, do you just put the base pay in there. You put their bonus, you put their stock options, you put everything. Caitlin has the ability to make up to $500,000 just in WNBA wages this year. So, of course, they're just looking at a base which is collectively bargained. And actually, it's low because she's the #1 pick. She'll make a little more than that. But she also has millions and millions of dollars of endorsements. She's actually, because she declared to become pro, her endorsements are higher in dollar value. She has a global platform now, not just a U.S. platform. So she's going to do just fine, as will the top players in the league, as every league does. Also, there's comparisons to the men. Those men's leagues are 75 to 120 years old. We're tipping off our 28th season. I would say if you looked at them 28 seasons in, we're further ahead. But I realize we still have a lot of work to do. And it's all about the ecosystem.
For fans, this is amazing. It is exciting and makes you want to watch basketball. But for executives like Kathy Engelbert, this represents a total loss of control. See, the league did not create that image. They did not authorize the creative vision, and they cannot control the narrative. When the commissioner sees Clark in these polished ads, she sees a player who doesn't need the WNBA to survive. Clark has her own economy, her own gravitational pull, her own empire. The rage that Stephen A. Smith keeps mentioning stems from this total loss of leverage. Usually, professional sports leagues control their players because those players need the league for their paycheck and exposure. Caitlin Clark has completely bypassed that traditional dynamic. She is making more money off the court than on it, and everyone knows it. That financial independence translates to power. And power makes people uncomfortable, especially people used to being in charge.
Commercial. Lisa Bluter was in the commercial. Travis Scott was in the commercial. Travis Kelce was in the commercial. Jason Kelce was in the commercial, like the podcast thing, which we're going to get to that. Commercial. It was super hype. And they also launched the campaign From Anywhere, which is just perfect for Caitlin Clark. And obviously fans have been waiting for a CC signature shoe for years. It feels like years at this point. She is now 2 seasons into the WNBA, and we've gotten the signature logo, and we've also gotten some merch, but that signature shoe is what everybody is on the edge of their seat for. And she recently went on New Heights once again to talk about her signature shoe, and she talked about the new technology that will be going into this shoe.
Insiders suggest the timing of this particular commercial really set things off. The league has been desperately trying to push a collective narrative all season. They keep reminding everyone that it is not just about one player. They want you to focus on the history, the other players, the system itself. Then, boom, this commercial drops and absolutely obliterates that messaging in 30 seconds. It reminds everyone watching that there is one person actually driving interest in this league, and it is not the commissioner. It is the girl from Iowa who can drain shots from the logo. The contrast between the WNBA's outdated, low-budget marketing efforts and Clark's premium brand deals is genuinely embarrassing for the leadership. That embarrassment is turning into anger because it exposes their failure. For 27 years, the WNBA struggled to gain mainstream attention. Then, one player shows up and accomplishes in one season what they could not do in nearly 3 decades. That has got to sting. Stephen A. Smith has been absolutely relentless about this. He has pointed out the absurdity of having a commissioner who is supposedly a business expert acting emotionally compromised because one player is getting too much attention. His argument is that the rage is actually covering up incompetence. Every time Clark lands another massive deal or stars in another viral commercial, it highlights what the WNBA failed to do for all those years. Think about it from Kathy Engelbert's perspective. You are the commissioner. You are supposed to be the business genius who grows the league. Then Gatorade, Wilson, and State Farm all do a better job marketing your sport than you ever did. That is humiliating. It exposes you as not being very good at your job. So instead of learning from it, Instead of hiring better marketing teams to match that energy, the response is apparently bitterness and resentment. SAS also connected the dots between boardroom attitude and locker room behavior. If the commissioner is rolling her eyes at Clark's commercial success, why would opposing players feel any need to show her respect? The toxicity trickles down. When leadership doesn't protect their star, when they treat her success with hostility instead of pride, it sends a message to everyone else that it is open season. This might explain some of the ridiculous hard fouls and cheap shots we've seen all season. We need to understand this rage within the context of WNBA history. For years, the league has been run by a specific group with a specific mindset. They view the WNBA as a cause, a movement, a collective struggle for recognition and respect. Then comes Caitlin Clark, who represents pure individual stardom and capitalism. She doesn't fit the mold. She disrupts the carefully constructed hierarchy. The commercial highlights this disruption perfectly. It shows Clark as a singular force, separated from the pack. The WNBA leadership spent decades trying to convince the world that the product is the league itself. They sell the shield, the collective. But Clark's brand partners sell her as an individual icon. This fundamental disagreement about what sells is causing massive friction. The old guard feels disrespected. They feel like all the foundational work they did is being ignored because some girl from Iowa can shoot from anywhere and happen to go viral. Stephen A. Smith pointed out this is the same energy behind leaving Clark off the Olympic roster. That decision was made by the old guard to protect hierarchy and send a message. You have to wait your turn, pay your dues. But commercial brands don't care about waiting your turn. They pay for relevance right now, today, this second. This disconnect between the slow-moving, seniority-based league office and the fast-moving, merit-based world of advertising is causing internal chaos. The commissioner is stuck in the middle, and instead of adapting to the new reality, she is getting angry at it. Let's talk about the money, because ultimately, professional sports is supposed to be a business. Stephen A. Smith has repeatedly accused the WNBA of committing business malpractice. And the rage over Clark's commercial is a perfect example. In normal leagues like the NBA or NFL, when a player lands a massive national commercial, the commissioner celebrates. Why? Because it raises the value of the entire enterprise. It brings casual fans to games. It sells merchandise. So why is WNBA leadership mad? Because they're not getting credit. Clark's off-court earnings are absolutely dwarfing her on-court salary, and that makes the league look cheap and unprofessional. When casual fans see Clark in million-dollar ad campaigns and then find out the WNBA pays her a base salary of roughly $76,000, it creates a public relations nightmare. It highlights the wage gap and lack of revenue sharing. The commissioner knows this. She knows every high-profile commercial Clark shoots is a reminder to the public that the WNBA doesn't pay its stars appropriately. It invites scrutiny. People start asking uncomfortable questions like, why is the league so broke if this girl is generating so much attention and money? Instead of fixing the revenue model or celebrating the exposure, leadership gets defensive. They would apparently rather Clark be less famous so they wouldn't have to answer these hard financial questions. That's a scarcity mindset, fighting over crumbs, while Clark is baking an entirely new cake. Let's focus on Kathy Engelbert specifically. She was brought in as a CEO type from Deloitte, someone who supposedly knows how to crunch numbers and grow a business. But she has been completely outmaneuvered by the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Her reaction to this new commercial era has been awkward and frozen. Remember, this is the same commissioner who struggled to answer a basic question about racial toxicity, directed at Clark during a televised interview. She tried to give a corporate non-answer, and it backfired spectacularly. Smith has suggested Engelbert is raging because she knows she's on the hot seat. The owners of WNBA teams are business people. They see the numbers, the chartered flights Clark forced the league to adopt, the sold-out arenas, the merchandise flying off shelves. If the commissioner is seen as an obstacle to growth, if she is viewed as being petty about commercials rather than capitalizing on them, she won't last long. The rage is likely fear. Fear that she's being exposed as the wrong leader for this new era. Clark represents a pace of growth that Engelbert seemingly cannot handle. The commercial is a symbol of that speed. It's slick, fast, globally appealing. Meanwhile, the WNBA's official marketing often feels clunky and years behind. It's a clash of aesthetics and competence, and the commissioner is losing badly. Instead of matching Clark's energy, reports suggest she is just bitter about being outshined by her own player. We have to use the word jealousy, because it's the only one that fits. Stephen A. Smith has used it. Charles Barkley has used it. Usually we talk about players being jealous of each other. What SAS is exposing now is that jealousy goes all the way to the executive suite. Why would a commissioner be jealous of her own player? Because Clark wields more actual power and influence than Engelbert does. When Caitlin Clark speaks, the world listens. When Kathy Engelbert speaks, people tune out or don't even know who she is. That's a hard reality for an executive who's used to being the boss. This new commercial cements Clark's status as the face of women's basketball, regardless of what the league's standings say. The office spent years trying to manufacture stars, trying to tell fans who to root for. Then Clark showed up, and it happened organically, naturally, unstoppably. The rage is the rage of a micromanager who's lost control. They can't tell Clark what to wear, what to say, or who to sign endorsement deals with, because she doesn't need their permission or their money. This independence is seen as a direct threat to their authority. We see this manifested in weird ways, like how long it takes WNBA official accounts to post Clark's highlights compared to other players. Fans have documented this pattern all season. It's petty and childish, and it comes from the top. One of the most telling aspects of this entire situation is what the league doesn't do. When this new commercial dropped, did the WNBA official account repost it? Did they congratulate their star on expanding the game's reach? Did they issue any press release celebrating the partnership? No. Complete silence. In the NBA, when stars drop new signature shoes or major ads, the league amplifies it because they understand it's good for the entire ecosystem. The WNBA's silence regarding Clark's commercial victories is deafening. It confirms everything Stephen A. Smith is saying. You only ignore your biggest star's success if you're bitter about it. This silence is actively damaging the league's relationship with its fan base. The millions of new fans Clark brought in aren't stupid. They see the double standard. They see the hostility. They're starting to view WNBA leadership as villains in this story. By refusing to embrace the commercial, the commissioner is drawing a line in the sand. It's us versus her. And as Stephen A. Smith warned, that's a war the WNBA will absolutely lose. You cannot fight cultural momentum. You cannot fight the zeitgeist. Clark is the zeitgeist right now. We have to connect boardroom rage to on-court violence, because this is the darkest part of the theory. If the commissioner and league office are openly resentful of Clark's commercial appeal, it sends a message to the rest of the league. It is okay to go after her. If the commissioner treated Clark like the asset she is, it would set a tone of respect and protection. But by acting cold, by apparently raging against her marketing success, Engelbert effectively removes protection around Clark. We've seen the hard fouls. We've seen blindside hits and eye pokes. After every incident, the league's discipline has been slow and weak. Sass argues this is connected. The leadership doesn't want to protect a player who makes them feel inadequate. They're letting jungle rules apply to Clark because deep down, maybe they want to see her struggle. They want her knocked down a peg so they can say, see, she's not that special. But every time she gets up and shoots another commercial, it proves them wrong again. Stephen A. Smith just exposed which path they're choosing, and it's the wrong one. If this story opened your eyes, smash that like button and subscribe because this drama is far from over.